Ladies, gentlemen, and you beautiful in-betweens, hello and welcome back to Satisfactory. I'm Calmputer, and it feels like every time I start a new episode, I have to do some kind of a redaction or like explain some mistake I've made or something like that. And today is no different. I've realized I don't actually need this water tower at all. Actually, I kind of do a little, potentially, but we'll get into that later. Instead, because, well, the point of the water tower was that I have all of this coal in one of those containers, so when I want to jumpstart the refinery once I've built it, I'm going to need some coal generations to create the power that will then power the oil drill, no? Oil extractor. And because it'll take a while for the oil to run through the system and become fuel for the fuel generators that will then power everything. However, there's a much simpler solution that doesn't even require water, and that is to build, let's see, power fuel generators. This only has one input, and it's fuel or turbo fuel if you have that. Which I don't, and it will probably be a while before I do. Well, anyway, it doesn't need water, which is great, because it makes everything so much simpler. Instead of a water tower, what I want is a fuel tower. Just like 10 fluid buffers high, high enough that it can like push water down and then up into the refinery, however tall I make it. And just connect the fuel to the other side of the refinery so that it goes straight into the fuel generators. And that will start powering everything up. The only problem is that it will be at most 600 cubic meters per minute. And depending on how many, well, no, it's not that big of a problem. I could probably actually make do with 300. And the 600 comes from the fact that these fluid buffers, they have two outputs, or two inputs, two puts that goes both in and out. And if you put one like pipe through here and then feed it into one part of the system and that into another, yeah, you get 600. So that's real nice. It also means that never mind, it doesn't really matter, but like if you want to drain this thing into another set of 10, you can just put every single one of these, let's call them just puts, outputs into the other system. And it's neither here nor there, actually, and just kind of like a peculiarity of the system. So anyway, my plan is to make a fuel tower and then make just a refinery. I have most of the materials put into these, so well, I'll start with the fuel tower and see how that was not even close to as painful as I thought it would be. Honestly, once I'd built the first one and knew how to do it, pretty painless. It's just this one pipe going in, 300, and then getting buzzed up by a lot of pumps, and then trickling down. And when I want to empty it, not entirely sure how I'm going to do that. Probably remove this, and then just connect that so it flows out again, maybe? Not sure. Also, these are exactly 20 meters apart, and yet they start complaining about head lift problems, which is a little infuriating because they are 20 meters apart and they can't go over that. And when you get the warning that they are over it, it obstructs what the current number is. So if it's 20.1, you can't see that. It's, yeah. Maybe moving it down like one step, But then you have to move that one down 2 step and that 3, 4, 5. It's easier to just like use these, the cross pattern here, to put them in the middle and then go up. But yeah, also it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it should be exactly 20, but it still complains. It still works. Like, if I empty one of these and then look at the top one, the flow rate, 300. Just straight up. No problems. So, yeah, well, 301 sometimes, because someone forgot to carry a 1, I guess. Anyway, the way I'm filling it up is just with 3 refineries over here. And they're overclocked to take in, well, 99. So roughly 100 each, 300, and that's exactly what this one is outputting. Or, yeah. So everything, no, stop. So everything good there. Also, this one is normal. That one over there is pure. That one over there is pure, and that one is normal. They can all be overclocked to be 300 though, so it's all good. So you can get up to 1200 oil per minute here, which is all good. And I also got some polymer resin in these. Not a lot though, because it filled up a lot quicker than I thought it should, or would. And yeah, I'm gonna leave the water here just in case. If I ever want to... Oh, thank you. Let's see. Refinery, do I have... Yes. Alright. There should be... Well, I mean, we could package water here too, I guess. But there should be one that takes water. Polymer resin plus water makes rubber and plastic. So I can use that to turn the polymer resin into just rubber and plastic. It's not going to be, well, I'm thinking I should use these recycled, no, not that one. Just this. Takes crude oil and turns it into rubber and residual, what's it called? Heavy oil residue, and then turn the heavy oil residue into fuel. That was my plan, but I could also do it in the reverse. Turn the crude oil into fuel and polymer, and then turn the polymer into rubber and plastic with a bit of water. Not entirely sure. I mean, the 2 residual plastic versus 2 plastic. 3, 6. 13 polymer per minute. Yeah, it's probably just easier to turn it into plastic first and then have the fuel as the... Yeah, maybe. Also, I do want to make turbo fuel, but that means... Excuse me. There we go. Means getting coal over here, or compacted coal. Which, well, it wouldn't be entirely impossible, because I want to create like a train station here that goes to that to pick up some quick wire, and then goes all the way over to the main base. And then, on the way back, it could just pick up some compacted coal to turn into here and give us turbo fuel. Or alternatively, I also package some fuel and send it all the way over there and just ignore turbo fuel as a fuel for the fuel generators. Also fuel. Yeah. Not entirely sure how I'm going to do that. I haven't really made any plans. Also, why is only one of them working? Is everything turned off? Seems like it. Shouldn't be, because I mean, I turned off everything. And it looks like they have... You know what? Never mind. I'm going to dismantle all of this anyway, except that. So, yeah. Now it's time for a little time lapse, and I'm not entirely sure right now how I'm going to go about it, or if I'm going to show the entire thing in this video. Probably I'm going to give you a little highlight, or very cut version, and then leave the entire time-lapse up as a second video. A lot of people seem to like that idea when I did it a couple of weeks ago. Hopefully it won't be too discombobulating, but let's go. Yeah, that didn't go according to plan. Then again, the old saying goes something like, while mortals make plans, the gods laugh, so makes sense. And this doesn't look quite like you just saw in the time-lapse, does it? Yeah, every time the perspective changed, it's because the game crashed. And like they say here in... Yeah, the amount of bugs and performance issues in multiplayer is higher than in single player. And they're not lying about that. So, yeah, my first plan was actually kind of naive. Where I was just going to turn one of these pipes into like rubber and turn another pipe into plastic and another pipe into fuel and another pipe into packaged fuel. I think that was my plan. And I had 10 hours set aside to try and make a good time lapse for you. And I made a passable attempt, but it just had too many problems with ratios and everything. So instead, let's see if this works. Yeah. I went to the Satisfactory wiki and I found this. Wow, that's real tiny. Let's zoom in a little. Yeah, it basically turns 300, like one pipe of crude oil, into 300 fuel, 300 plastic, and 300 rubber. Which is insane when you think about it. It's basically a tripling. Tripling of everything. And all you add is really 1,000 water, which you can get by overclocking 4 water extractors. 2 to 250%, which will give you 300 water each, and then 2 at 167%, if I'm not misremembering, and that'll give you 200 each. Or you could just overclock all of them to 250% and just, like, well, all 4 lines will then turn into 300 each, and you'll just have a little bit of an overflow issue, which isn't really an issue. Anyway, you turn the 300 crude oil into heavy oil residue and polymer resin. The resin goes over here, and you combine it with water to create rubber, and then you turn that rubber with fuel into more plastics. And then the heavy oil residue goes over here and combines with packaged water to turn into packaged fuel, which goes over here, where you unpack the fuel again, send the empty canisters over here, and the fuel over here and here. And then you turn a lot of water into packaged water, which you send over here. And this fuel also goes over here, I forgot to mention that, where you create recycled rubber, which goes over here. And yeah, it's also down here. It's a bit of a mess, but it makes sense. And the only few problems I found with this is that it doesn't tell you how much of each you get on these lines, which I would prefer. For instance, here, I mean, you have heavy oil residue 400 here, but I would like to have like a visual cue that this needs 2 pipes. Same thing with the packaged water needing 2 conveyor belts. And this thing here, where it puts rubber in here and over here, I have to remember to make sure that I prioritize this route. Same thing with plastic over here, so I prioritize this instead of this, or not, like it's 533.33 per minute. So if I let it go 50-50, this one is going to get starved. Slowly, but it's going to get starved. And the same thing with rubber down here, where you want it to prioritize staying in the system. And I think I can do that with smart splitters all around. Except with this fuel here, although that's not a big issue. Because this fuel line is 300 per minute, and that's as much as a pipeline can hold. So the rest of the fuel will just naturally go there and there. Hopefully. Yeah. Might have to build some kind of contraption here to give a little bit more here than there. Or I'm just gonna have to use my, like, if we're looking down at it now, then I have the fuel tower over here, and if I feed that into the system, it's gonna fill these ones. But I don't really want to do that because it's not a renewable source of fuel right now. Anyway, as far as if we go over here... Thank you. That was weird, but okay. Yeah, let's actually fly a little. And go up a little faster. So yeah, we have the fuel tower over there. That looks weird. Looks like that is a white one, but it isn't. Never mind. Anyway, yeah. So this is heavy oil residue here, and polymer resin that way. And I mean, we can't really see the pipes working here because the game crashed before it saved that. So I'll be having, you know what? It's better to just show you this. That one, and that one will be just going straight down here in a line. And then that one, and that one will be in a straight line here, slightly thinner, because you only need 5 refineries there, 9 there, and 8 there, while these need 14 each. Which means 7 in 2 rows, and then 7, 7, and then we have 5, 9, and 8. And that will also mean that the rubber and plastics will be quite conveniently pushed to the right into some kind of a train depot, and the fuel will be quite conveniently pushed to the left, where I will probably have an entire floor of fuel generators, and that will be 20 fuel generators. If my math isn't incorrect, I think they take 15 fuel per minute, and each fuel generator generates 150 megawatts, so that's 3 gigawatts. And at my old base, I have a 1.5 right now, so that's real nice. And then, again, please, maybe it's time to start using borderless windows somehow. Anyway, the good thing about using this layout is that each floor will be exactly the same. I wonder if I should just download area action mods. Or, I mean, that's probably not a plural, but never mind. And just, like, yeah. Anyway, the first floor will just have the fuel go into fuel generators because that's the main issue. And then I'm going to turn the fuel over there into packaged fuel, I think. Because I do need a couple of containers of that as well. As for the time-lapse, this will have to do for now. But I am going to keep trying to record building the rest as well. And then turning that into a giant time-lapse maybe sometime during this week. Somehow, if the game doesn't keep crashing every 20 minutes or so. That would be very nice if it didn't do that, I guess I could say. Yeah. But this is a good start. Like, the just kind of... Also, this doesn't look great. I realized too late that these are one step too close to look good with the whatever they're called, conveyor lifts. I mean, they work. They ping whenever I like move them, but yeah, I'm concerned. This over here looks so much cleaner. Although, I mean, guess I should fix that. Yeah, that looks a lot better, right? Well, that's... I'm gonna have to be a perfectionist later. I also have hiccups. Like, I've been having hiccups for a very long time now, it feels like. So let's just fix this up so it looks neat and proper. I also need to take some time out of my busy, quote-unquote, schedule to fix this properly someday. Yeah, somewhere around there. Can't afford. Oh well. I'll fix that later. And I will probably forget all about that. Yeah. So I'm going to have a little bit of a space between each of the plants just to keep everything a little separate so I can see everything working at a glance. And I also need power to these guys, or at least one of them. And I am going to... Wait, am I still flying? Yes, I am. That's embarrassing. And let's run. I'm kind of in love with the Blade Runners, not gonna lie. And then we go down here to see this. Also, yes, I fixed this one being a little crooked. I saw it on the time lapse, and I just figured, yeah, no, that simply will not do. And this is high enough that I'm probably going to need 2 pumps, probably, to get just up to that one. And then I'm going to need 2 pumps per floor after that. But after, like, inside each floor, I don't believe I'm going to have to use a single pump. Alternatively, I could build out here and introduce some fluid buffers, maybe. And then connect fluid buffers together so that it keeps pushing the... No, that's not going to work. That's not going to work at all. At least not for the entire system. Because said fluid buffer will only be attached to this pipe and nothing else. Not to this pipe at all. Ever. And I don't believe head lift converts through these. It would be weird if they did, although, I mean, it looks like they have some kind of like a tank inside them, maybe? I suspect the developers haven't thought that far ahead. But now I'm not too sure. They've surprised me in the past. So, yeah. Anyway, that was also one of the reasons why I wanted to move to having everything on one floor. Because it means that I don't have to use the pumps so much. Only really here, which feels nice. And, yeah. I'm going to have to cut it short here for this video, which probably means the video itself is going to be a lot less than an hour long, which is like the customary length for me. Not sure how you'll react to that. Leave a comment if you want me to like pay attention to that in the future. Like if you really enjoy them being a lot longer. Also, that does really bother me now. I think it's just because it's these brackets. Yeah, I mean, there's another way we can do this. Yeah, it was just a bracket. But what's so special about that one? And like, what's with those weird round things? That's really curious. Are they coffee stains? Did someone put coffee stains on the... That would be kind of hilarious, actually. Because it's nowhere near close enough for the tanks inside there. Also, they're too uniform. No, I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is. It's... Let's see if we... Yeah, that's it. See, the perspective changes. we can partially see through the walls here. Even those those like dots there are moving independently, and I believe those should. Not sure what. Wait, no, that's the wrong button. Wow, now I can't even tell. I think those are these ones. I believe that's what they are. Or maybe it's those. Could be those as well. Yeah. The pumps are on the other side and wouldn't be... You know what? It doesn't much matter. And, yeah, so... Oh, almost got over it. This looks kind of impressive. Like 1,200 units per minute. That's quite nice. Anyway, yes, I'm rambling, and there's no call for it. I just wonder which one I'm going to put in there. Maybe I should make them go to the side and then just go whip, 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 whip. Maybe something like that. I think that would look a little bit better, which means I'm going to have to move these slightly to the left or right. Yeah. Anyway, oh, let's get some... There we are. Hello, Mr. Sun. For now, this will have to do. And, well, an autosave there, good. And as for the... Actually, we can talk a little bit about how I make the time lapses. Fly slow, and then fly. Right, so basically, I position myself around here. Right, I'll actually, let's remove you for now. Good. And go so. And, right, good. So, to start off with, I have two controllers plugged into my computer right now. An Xbox 360 controller, no, an Xbox One controller, actually, as well as an, like, 8-bit-do gamepad, which looks like a Super Nintendo controller, but with thumbsticks. And I'm also running Joy to Key. Let's see if we can... Wow, ouch. No, that's not what I wanted you to do. Oh, great. Thank you. That helps immeasurably. There we go. I have these macros set up, which is basically just... If I press left on the Nintendo controller, it auto-repeats turning left 30 times per second at a speed of 7. And that's like the mouse cursor speed. So if I were to press left right now, give me a second. Let's go outside of that and goes up. This happens. And if I go into the game and wait for it to actually... Wow, thank you. There, go into options. No controls, and zip. Fine, yes, thank you. Right. This is me with the mouse, and then when I press left on the Nintendo controller, this happens. It moves incredibly slowly, but this is actually fast when it comes to time lapses. But I just want to make sure that I can see it actually working when I'm trying to set this up. And I also have the Xbox controller. I have another program called REWASD, or Revast, where I have set the stick to have as low sensitivity as possible, and then I just weigh the controller down so it starts moving. Wow, you really don't want to move right now. Anyway, so it starts moving to the left or the right, depending on the shot I want. And because the sensitivity is so far down, and I'm using like fly slow, I move at a snail's pace. And the problem here is that I have had so much trouble trying to make sure that I'm moving at a speed and turning at a speed where my, like that dot, like the actual like aiming reticule there doesn't actually move away from what I'm aiming at. And that's the only way I can calibrate moving in a circle. And as you've seen in the time lapses, that hasn't always worked quite well. Either I'm turning too fast or I'm moving too fast. Either way, I'm spiraling inward or outward, and it just kind of looks weird. And like, if we were to talk like wish lists, I would like a spectator mode, or a mod that lets me just, like, it could be something like something you put in your hand, and I'm going to fix that now, sorry. Controls, and go back to, yeah, that'll be enough. Right, wow, thank you. Where I can just say, okay, this point, that way, click. And then move over here, somewhere around, let's say here, and say, this position, aiming that way, click. And then do the same over there and over there, and have like the ability to then tell the game to automatically move from like this position over here to this one while also turning, and then, oh, sorry, and then moving that way, that way, that way. You can do this in Minecraft, no problems. And there are even a lot of mods that make it even easier and like make the turn linear, so you actually turn in a circle, which is just really awesome, and I would love it if something like that existed in this game. Or maybe it does, and I'm just clueless, let's say. And, or like, not just in a circle, but like this thing that I'm building here is going to be pretty long, and I'm actually worried that it'll go to like the killing zone that is somewhere around there, I think. Probably shouldn't, but you never quite know. And just having me, or this camera drone, let's say it, move from that position over there all the way over there and then back. Or you could just go, let's go a little faster. Like move just down the middle like this from a top-down perspective while hiding the, legs maybe. Yeah, there's a lot I would want, and the current way I'm doing things isn't ideal and honestly has a lot more problems than I'm comfortable with in any way, shape, or form. That really bothers me, that it's like that. Oh well. But for now, it'll have to do. And with that, ladies, gentlemen, and you beautiful in-betweens, I've been Calmputer, this has been Satisfactory, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.